All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we are diving deep into the story of Jacob.
Jacob,
that's right. The biblical patriarch, the guy with the 12 sons who end up becoming the 12 tribes of Israel.
Right.
But trust me, this is not going to be your typical Sunday school lesson.
No.
We're going way beyond the basics.
Yeah.
We're using this really cool animated video as our guide from the YouTube channel, The Truth in Life.
Great source.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
So what I think is so fascinating about Jacob is that he's not your average hero, right? He's
kind of
he makes a scoundrel.
Yeah, he makes some questionable choices.
Yeah, for sure.
But ultimately his story is one of transformation and really surprising faith.
Definitely, yeah.
So let's unpack this a little bit.
Okay.
The drama seriously starts before Jacob is even born.
Yeah.
His mother, Rebecca, is pregnant with twins and feels this intense struggle going on in her womb.
This isn't just typical pregnancy discomfort, right?
Yeah, not at all.
When Rebecca inquires of the Lord, she receives a prophecy that the older twain will serve the younger.
Interesting.
So right off the bat,
yeah,
we've got this is setting the stage.
The stage is set.
Yeah, for all this conflict that's going to define much of Jacob's life.
Definitely.
So, talk about drama, right?
Yeah.
It's baked in from the very beginning.
Baked right in.
And then there's the whole thing with Jacob's name itself.
Oh, yeah.
Which means heel grabber or supplanter.
Right.
So knowing what we know now about Jacob and all of the actions that he takes, does that name,
you think about that?
Yeah, does that name
it makes you kind of
make you rethink those early choices?
Rethink it, yeah.
Or is it just a convenient label?
I think it's more than just a label.
Okay.
Yeah, in those ancient cultures, names held this really deep meaning.
Right.
People believed that they actually foreshadowed
wow.
a person's character or even their destiny.
So it's
so in a way,
it's their name is a spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's like a spoiler alert.
Sure, for how their story's gonna play it out.
For sure, for all the drama.
Okay, so Jacob's got this prophecy hanging over him, right?
Right.
He's got this name that hints at his future.
Yeah.
But things really kick off with this birthright bargain.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
That's where it really gets going.
So Esau, the older twin, comes home starving from a hunt.
He's famished.
And Jacob, the opportunist, offers him a bowl of stew in exchange for his birthright.
What a deal. I
get being hungry, but come on, Esau,
wow.
A bowl of stew.
I've been hungry.
Yeah.
But not that hungry.
But your birthright, this got to be one of history's worst trades.
It's got to be up there, yeah.
Talk about buyer's remorse.
Big time, yeah.
So
it
might seem like a simple exchange, but in that culture,
it was not simple.
Yeah, the birthright was a really big deal.
A huge deal.
It wasn't just about inheriting your dad's stuff.
Right.
It was connected to leadership within the family, spiritual blessings, all that stuff.
Exactly.
So Esau giving that up is essentially forfeiting his position and his whole future.
Yeah, he's giving up everything.
So that makes it way more serious than I think I initially thought.
It's huge, yeah.
So Jacob scores the birthright.
He does.
But he doesn't stop there, does he?
No, he does not.
No.
He keeps going.
Yeah. So with his mother's help.
Mom's always involved.
That's right.
Yeah.
He tricks his aging father, Isaac, into giving him the blessing that was meant for Esau.
This is sneaky.
Yeah, this scene is wild.
Yeah.
Kind is practically blind at this point. And Jacob pretends to be Esau to get that blessing.
Oh, wow.
Part of me, kind of wants to admire their cleverness,
right.
but it's clearly deceptive.
Oh, yeah.
And these blessings weren't just
no,
your vibes wishes. Right.
They were not just have a nice day.
Yeah.
These were serious.
For the real deal.
Yeah. In that world, a father's blessing, channeled real power.
Really?
Yeah, almost like it was shaping destiny itself.
Wow.
So Jacob's actions weren't just they had huge consequences.
Yeah.
By getting that blessing, he was essentially solidifying the prophecy.
Oh, wow.
Of the younger brother's dominance.
So he basically steals his brother's future.
He does.
which understandably doesn't go over so well with Esau.
No.
I mean, he has to flee for his life.
Like, he's got to get out of there.
Yeah, he takes off. So he escapes to his uncle Laban's house.
Yeah.
But during his journey, he has this really pivotal dream.
Oh, yeah.
At a place called Luz.
Luz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me.
Yeah.
Jacob falls asleep with a stone for a pillow and dreams of a ladder reaching to heaven.
Wow.
With angels going up and down, and at the top is God.
Right.
Making these serious promises to Jacob.
Powerful imagery.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Like, that ladder, it's so powerful.
Yeah, it's amazing.
We all have times when we feel disconnected from something bigger, you know?
Yeah.
Like Jacob sleeping on that hard ground.
Right.
But the dream, like, it reminds us that there's a bridge.
Oh, wow.
Between us and the divine, even in the most ordinary places.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
And then there's the name change, right?
Uh-huh.
Luz becomes Bethel.
Bethel, right.
Which literally means God's house.
Yeah, house of God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And that, that's how profoundly this encounter like shifted Jacob's perspective. It's like he realized even the most mundane place can become sacred.
It can be holy ground.
Yeah. So Jacob's on the run.
Right.
But he's also getting these incredible assurances from God.
Uh-huh.
Talk about like mixed signals.
Yeah, I mean, it reinforces the idea that even when we make bad choices,
right,
God's plan can still unfold.
Uh-huh.
And for Jacob, that plan involves working through his flaws and using him, like, despite his shortcomings.
It's almost like God saying, look, Jacob, you've got some work to do.
You've got some work to do.
But I'm not done with you yet.
Yeah.
But before we get to the like greatness part of Jacob's story, there are some consequences heading his way.
Consequences coming, yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Oh yeah.
Remember how Jacob tricked Esau out of his birthright?
Well, he's about to get a taste of his own medicine at the hands of his uncle Laban.
Interesting.
Oh, this is about him marrying the wrong sister, right?
The wrong sister.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that from Sunday school.
Oh yeah, Sunday school days.
Yeah, fill me in on what happened there.
So Jacob falls head over heels for Rachel,
right?
Who's Laban's younger daughter.
Okay.
He works 7 years.
7 years.
For her hand in marriage.
Wow.
But on his wedding night, Laban tricks him.
Oh, no.
Into marrying Leah.
Really?
The older sister.
So he pulls a fast one on his brother.
He does.
And then his uncle pulls a fast one on him.
That's right.
I mean, this is where I kind of struggle with Jacob.
Yeah. Part
of me wants to like cheer for the underdog.
Yeah.
But he kind of brought this on himself, right?
Yeah, he did.
I mean, how are we supposed to like feel about this trickery?
Yeah, it's complex.
It's complicated,
isn't it? Yeah. It raises all sorts of questions about karma,
right,
and divine justice.
Yeah.
And whether Jacob is truly learning from his past mistakes.
Yeah. So he's stuck with Leah. But he eventually does get to marry Rachel too, right?
Eventually, yeah.
So what happens next? In this like tangled web of relationships?
It's a tangled web for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does eventually marry Rachel.
Okay.
But it takes another 7 years of labor.
Wow.
For Laban.
Oh my goodness.
So you can imagine the family dynamics.
Yeah.
In that household.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Right.
Yeah.
Talk about a blended family gone wrong.
Right. Yeah. But amidst all this drama, right?
Yeah.
Jacob is also building his own family.
Yeah.
And gaining wealth.
That's right.
Things are starting to look up for him, wouldn't you say?
It seems that way. But remember that prophecy we talked about before about the younger brother ruling the older.
Right.
That hasn't been fully realized yet.
Oh, yeah.
And there's still that, looming thread of Esau's anger.
Right.
Jacob's past is about to catch up with him.
Oh, okay. So Jacob's got a family.
Yeah.
He's got some wealth.
Uh-huh.
But he's also got some serious baggage that he needs to unpack.
He does, yeah.
So what happens next?
So after years of working for Laban, Jacob, he receives a divine message telling him to return to his homeland, to Canaan.
I bet that homecoming comes with a lot of anxiety. I mean, he basically stole his brother's blessing.
He did.
And then skipped town.
And then took off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Jacob is, he's terrified
Yeah.
of facing Esau.
Of course.
He doesn't know if he'll be welcomed with open arms or met with vengeance.
Right.
So he sends
Right.
wave after wave of lavish gifts
Really?
ahead of him.
Wow. It's almost like he's
trying to buy back his brother's forgiveness.
Yeah.
You know?
It makes you wonder.
Yeah.
Does Esau even want these gifts?
Right.
Like, has he been stewing on this betrayal?
Has he been stewing?
Yeah, all these years.
Yeah.
Like, has he changed at all?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
We often focus so much on Jacob's transformation.
Right.
But what about Esau?
Yeah.
What about his side of the story?
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that, even in these ancient narratives, there are multiple perspectives at play.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
So the tension is building.
The tension's building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jacob's on his way back to face his past. Mm-hmm. And we're left wondering what's going to happen when he finally comes face to face with Esau. Yeah. But before that epic encounter, something even crazier happens.
No, the night before the meeting. Okay. Jacob wrestles.
He wrestles
with this mysterious figure all through the night.
Wow.
And this isn't just some metaphorical struggle. It's described as a full-on physical fight.
Wait, back up. Yeah. He wrestles with God.
With God.
I always kind of pictured Jacob as this like schemer.
Yeah, he's a schemer.
For sure.
But this wrestling match takes his story.
It takes it to a whole other
to a whole nother level. Yeah. What do you make of this?
It shows a depth
to
Jacob's spiritual journey.
Okay.
That we haven't seen before.
Yeah. He's no longer just trying to like outsmart people.
Right.
He's engaging in a physical and a spiritual struggle.
Wow.
It's almost as if he's wrestling with his own
like his inner
demons.
Yeah.
You know?
And his
understanding of God.
Yeah, his understanding of God, right.
Yeah.
And even though his hip gets dislocated.
I know, it's brutal.
Yeah.
It's a brutal scene.
During this fight, he refuses to let go.
He does not let go.
Until he receives a blessing.
He's persistent.
It's like he's clinging to faith.
Yeah.
Even in the midst of pain.
Yeah, in the midst of pain.
And uncertainty.
Yeah. That persistence.
Yeah.
That refusal to give up.
Right.
Is what leads to his transformation.
And of course there's that pivotal moment where his name changes. From Jacob to Israel.
Right.
Meaning
he struggles with God.
This isn't just a name change.
Yeah.
Right? It's a complete identity shift.
Yeah. It signifies that Jacob has wrestled with his past mistakes, his doubts, and even his understanding of God.
Right, yeah.
He emerges from this struggle a changed man.
Wow.
Marked both physically and spiritually.
This whole idea of wrestling with God is so powerful.
It is.
It suggests that our spiritual journeys aren't always easy or straightforward.
No, not at all.
Sometimes we have to grapple with our doubts and our fears to get to a place of deeper faith.
To really grow, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it's often through those struggles that we experience the most growth.
Yeah, so after this intense wrestling match, right? Jacob, now Israel, goes to meet Esau.
Yeah, he does.
What do you think happens?
What do you think?
I mean, epic showdown.
Could be.
Years of anger boiling over. I mean, I'm on the edge of my seat here.
I know, it's a good one.
Lay it on me. What happens
when
these two brothers finally come face to face?
Here we go.
Okay, so we've got this epic buildup, right? Years of separation, a stolen blessing, a wrestling match with God. What happens when Jacob, now Israel, finally sees Esau again?
It's amazing. It's like the meeting subverts all expectations. Instead of this like violent confrontation, there's this outpouring of emotion. Esau runs to meet Jacob, embraces him, and they both weep.
Wow, that's not what I was expecting at all. It's like all that pent up anger and resentment just melts away. It makes you think about the power of forgiveness and how even the most fractured relationships can heal.
Absolutely. And it raises a really interesting question. Did both brothers undergo some kind of transformation during their separation? We've seen Jacob's journey,
right?
But perhaps Esau had some soul searching to do as well.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It adds another layer of complexity to the whole story, doesn't it?
This totally does. It's not just about Jacob getting forgiveness. It's about two brothers rediscovering their bond after years of separation and pain. So we've got reconciliation, we've got a new name, and a whole lot of emotional baggage unpacked. What happens to Israel after all this? Well,
this is where Jacob's story transitions from personal journey to foundational narrative for an entire nation. Yeah. He becomes the patriarch of the 12 tribes of Israel, fulfilling that promise God made to him back at Bethel.
Hold on, his descendants literally become the nation of Israel.
Yeah.
Talk about a lasting legacy.
It's a pivotal moment. Yep. In biblical history, each of his sons becomes the head of a tribe. And these 12 tribes together form the people of Israel. It's through Jacob's lineage that the story of God's covenant with Abraham continues to unfold.
Wow, this deep dive has been a wild ride. We've gone from Jacob's birth to this wrestling match with God to the formation of the 12 tribes of Israel. What does it all mean? What are the big takeaways here?
Well, for me, one of the most powerful messages is that God can work through anyone, even those who are flawed and make mistakes. Yeah. Jacob was a deceiver. He struggled with his faith, but ultimately he surrendered to God's plan.
It's like even with all of our human messiness, our brokenness,
there's still a purpose for us.
Yeah,
we can still be part of something bigger than ourselves.
Exactly, and that's incredibly reassuring, isn't it?
Because we all have our flaws. We all make mistakes. Jacob's story tells us that those things don't disqualify us from being used by God for something meaningful.
And speaking of meaningful, right?
Yeah.
Jacob's story also highlights the complexity of family.
Oh, for sure.
We've got sibling rivalry. We've got parental favoritism, reconciliation, and just this tangled web of relationships.
It's messy.
Yeah.
It's complicated, and it's so relatable, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Because we all experience those family dynamics in our own lives. Jacob's story reminds us that family, for better or worse, shapes who we are.
And I keep coming back to that image of him wrestling with God. It's such a powerful metaphor for the struggles we face in our own lives. Those moments when we're grappling with doubt, with fear, and trying to make sense of our faith.
Absolutely, it's in those moments of wrestling, of pushing back and questioning, that we often find our greatest growth.
Yeah.
We come out the other side changed with a new perspective, a new name, a new sense of purpose.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Jacob's life, I have one final question for you, for our listeners.
Yeah.
If you were to wrestle with your own angels, with your own inner struggles, what blessing would you demand? What kind of transformation are you seeking?
That's a question worth pondering, isn't it?
It is.
We all have those inner battles, those parts of ourselves we're wrestling with.
Right.
But just like Jacob, it's often through those struggles that we discover our true potential and step into a new chapter of our lives.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, this was the good one.
It's been an incredible journey. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into the stories that shape our world.